Imagine a world where silence no longer suffocates, where the shadows of mental health stigma are chased away by the light of understanding. This is our mission, to break the chains of ignorance, to shatter the silence that holds us captive. We stand together, united in a cause greater than ourselves, to give a voice to the voiceless and strength to the weary, because every struggle, every battle with mental health deserves to be seen. Join us as we rise, as we challenge, as we transform. Together, we will end the stigma around mental health. Together, we will change the world. One voice, one story, one person at a time.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Who We Are podcast, hosted by yours truly, Zach Moloch. And then I have here with me Alicia White. Hi, Alicia.
Hey, Zach. Hey, everyone.
Hey, everybody. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about what Alicia does. This is Alicia from Alicia in the Wild. She's going to talk to us about what that means and how nature is transformative as far as our mental health recovery and just what that means to her in her life. She's also going to open up about her journey through mental health. And also, we've got the Successful Speaker's Handbook that she's going to take us through. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Quite a gem. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, yeah. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Zach, for having me. I'm excited to share. I've been listening to your podcast for a while now, and I hope to bring the same kind of value that your other guests have.
Oh, you absolutely will. You're a very special person to me, and
Yeah.
I'll actually tell the story of how we came to meet. It was really cool. We met together through this post. We have a community-wide Facebook page, and I just thought, hey, let's see if we can get some people together who are into mental health, as far as wanting to learn how to cope or wanting to actually to not be alone. I wanted to give people a place to where they didn't feel alone. So through this mental health group on Facebook, we started having coffees like once a week there for a while, and it just blossomed into a friendship now to where she's like my sister. So
Joined at the hip.
Joined at the hip. We meet as often as we can, but I'd say on average we're probably getting together once every couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
But you just have such a warm heart and a kind heart, and you have a heart for others.
Thank you.
Especially when it comes to mental health and them just not staying in the dark. Can you tell us a little bit about your mental health journey before we open up in regards to Alicia in the Wild?
Sure. Well, I have to tell you, throughout my life, I've had some bouts of depression, which I think is a normal thing for people to have. And the thing that really helped me was seeking therapy, talking to friends. I've even talked to my father about it. But I do want to point on this. It wasn't until your group, when I talked to other people there, that I realized, oh, I'm not broken.
All right. Well,
I'm normal. It's normal to have these feelings. And it was so cathartic to walk away having heard their stories, sharing my story, and realizing, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Stop judging myself so hard. And I think that's one of the things that's been hard on me throughout my entire life is the critical side of me. I'm so incredibly critical. Even at the age of 59, I know I told you about this. I was a keynote speaker at an all-women's event, and it was amazing. There were 200 beautiful, incredible, supportive women at this event, and I gave the keynote that Saturday night, and I thought I messed up because I had to pull out my notes from my pocket to remind me what the next point was, and I just kept kicking myself. 59 years old, folks. And I learned it's okay to use your notes.
It's definitely okay to use your notes.
It's okay to use your notes. So I still struggle with that. And I think there's a perfectionism in there that also creates some procrastination on my part. Why haven't I? Oh my gosh. Today I was going to put up a piece of fabric on the back of a piece of furniture so that it would look pretty. And I didn't have the right material or enough material. And I'm like, well, I just gave up.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things.
It's one of those things. But you can use your notes.
But I can use my notes.
That's right.
And it doesn't have to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect. And we'll talk a lot about that today in regards to just things not having to be perfect. So for people hearing about you for the first time today, what's the story behind Alicia in the Wild?
It's really interesting. That's one of those moments where I felt I had to be ready. That I didn't have value. That's something that I talk about or did talk about a lot in my previous career. So I'm just going to lay it out.
Yeah, please do.
I was a nuclear medicine technologist when I graduated from college. I did that for 10 years. And what that is, that's a fancy x-ray tech. All right. But I got burned out. I got so burned out. I was the only employee within that hospital. And so I was on call all the time and I got burned out. So I went back to college and I received another degree in mass communications. And I was really good at doing PR, writing, marketing. And I went through a series of jobs and I finally found a job where I could take all the skills that I had learned and I put together the graphic design. I did some really great graphic design work, but then I got burned out at that job. So I started my own company because I have ADD, y'all. So I was a nuclear medicine tech. I did that for 10 years, but I got burned out.
Yeah.
I was the only employee at the hospital that was doing everything, Mondays through Fridays and then on call on the weekends and holidays.
Yeah.
I changed trajectory. I went back to college and got a mass communications degree. And I started doing public relations and marketing. And I learned how to do graphic design, which I found a job where I worked there for about 5 years. But I got burned out there because of, you're micromanaged, you have so many deadlines and things to meet. And I felt I was pulling all the weight while my peers were not.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happens. So my husband encouraged me to come home and work for myself.
Okay.
And I did. Well, I started finding one client after another to do their marketing and their collateral marketing, like brochures, business cards, trade show banners, things like that. And I had so much fun with it. And then I found a group of people who spoke for a living.
Okay.
And I went, oh, wow, that sounds exciting.
So the speaking wasn't on your radar at all?
Not on my radar at all. And
Yeah.
so I started helping them. And they were business owners who use speaking as a marketing tool to get clients. And I'll never forget one speaker. She was on stage and she looked directly at me and she said, "You have massive value."
Yeah.
And I went, "I do?"
That had to be something.
It was something. It made me go, "I have value?" And that's the one thing that throughout my career working with these entrepreneurs, coaches, and small business owners was ensuring their value was promoted. Yet I still wasn't sure about my value. Again, that's part of that mental health issue of not thinking you're good enough because you're trying to be perfect. When I decided to go start Alicia in the Wild, I knew that in order to do that fully and to be completely in it, I had to end that, 12-year career of working with other people.
Just because of the timing, like you didn't have the time working a full-time job and then speaking for a living, right?
And and I got burned out too.
Well, that's responsible for a lot of the change.
I don't know if I'm a wuss or I just get burned out. I don't know if it was truly. Well, I just remember, Rick and I have been going to Yellowstone for the last. So all of this is kind of a tangled mess of rubber bands. And when I realized that, ending my business, starting my new business as Alicia in the Wild as an inspirational keynote speaker, going to Yellowstone, my love for nature, all of that is just one big, bundle of twine or rubber bands, what do you want to call it? And it was hard to differentiate which string was attached to what. Here I am helping these speakers and coaches and business professionals, but then I'm off helping my husband's business, and then I'm contemplating going to speaking for myself. And
there's a lot of irons in the fire.
There's a lot of irons in the fire, yeah. And then pleasing my, clients. So, and I'm going to Yellowstone. When I went to Yellowstone, that's where I found the reset button for my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
But
Please, yeah.
but when I realized that I was missing out on my life because I had so many things going on, that's when I decided to disconnect from Back of the Room Productions was the name of my company where I wrote that book. And yeah, when I wrote that book and that one. And that's when I decided to focus on my family and then on my business growth.
Mhm.
That is because of Yellowstone. Yellowstone was to me was transformative.
Well, that I still haven't heard the entire story behind that, so I'm really glad that you're gonna speak on that today.
Yeah.
But what was your relationship with nature prior to Yellowstone?
My mom, we used to take me on walks when I was younger. We would go on walks and she was like an encyclopedia. We'd walk and she would see a flower and she'd call out the name Trillium, trout lily, Jack in the pulpit, or she'd hear a bird and say that's a cardinal or a dove or great horned owl. And she just kind of instilled all that on me. So I always loved nature. And even as a teen and college student, I did nature walks. I lived in Arkansas, so there was lots of nature opportunities. I'd go hiking and camping and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But then that all kind of fell to the wayside when I moved here, and I was so focused on the career
Mhm.
and then focused on my marriage with Rick. And then, in 1990 and I'm sorry, in 2000 Rick and I married in 1996. In 2006, that was the trip that where when Rick introduced me to Yellowstone.
Nice, yeah.
He had been there before, I had not.
And transformative is what you use the word you use to describe it.
A game changer. I'll never forget. We were driving down the road. We had driven almost 1,500 miles from Dallas to Wyoming,
Mhm.
and we're coming around the corner, and I see the Grand Teton mountain range in front of me. And I remember going, wow. I mean, and still to this day, I go, wow, you
That's
know?
great, that's great that you're able to see it again and again and again. It
Yeah.
means that much more to you, as opposed to even the first time, right? Like, it's
Well,
just
yeah.
breathtaking.
It's breathtaking, and we've gone every year, but every year I've grabbed a different piece, a different life lesson
Mhm.
from Yellowstone, from those adventures.
Okay.
Mhm,
What are a couple of those lessons, if you wouldn't
mhm.
mind sharing with us?
Well, one of them I talk about in my presentation is refocusing your priorities.
Mhm.
I'll try to make this quick, but it's,
No, take your time. We've got all the time in the world.
okay. Well, it's a great little story. This was during that time when I was thinking, "I've gotta get out of my business and start Alicia in the Wild." I had a client so we would take our work with us on the road, and we'd have a working vacation.
Mhm.
This is about, 6 years in, 7 years in, and my, I had we had Wi-Fi. We had access to Wi-Fi on the campground. We had our cell phones, they were working.
Mhm.
And so every morning before we'd go to Yellowstone, I would, answer emails, make phone calls. And then one morning we woke up, beautiful day, the birds are chirping. It was going to be a glorious day in
Mhm.
Yellowstone. And that's when I got an urgent email from my client saying, I need these changes today.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, okay. All right.
And you're not anywhere close to an office, like,
But I,
just
I had
with
my laptop.
right, with the laptop
Yeah.
there in the RV.
Right,
Yeah.
but so I could do that. I could make those changes,
Mhm.
but guess what, Zach? The Wi-Fi wasn't working.
Oh.
I was like, "Why isn't the Wi-Fi working here in the middle of
Right.
mountains out in wilderness?" Yeah, duh. Um, so I got mad, and so I said, "Well, I'll just upload it to my cell phone." Guess what? Cell phone
So,
service
no
was out too.
service. Yeah.
SOS.
Mm.
Rick said, "Look, you're not gonna be able to send it today. Just send it, when you get back, or we'll go to Mount Washburn, which is a high elevation in Yellowstone, and
Mhm.
we'll try to send it the email from there." Oh my gosh, every 30 seconds, my eye's on the phone. Do I have bars?
Yeah.
Do I have bars?
Can
Stick
you
my
hear me
hand out the
now?
window.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me now?
exactly.
Yeah.
I can't send that email. I guess I had been muttering and fussing too much that Rick just basically has said, "Stop it. Look at
Yeah.
where you are." And he
Well,
was right.
yeah.
I was in the middle of a magical place
Mhm.
with things. I mean, I was with my soulmate, number one, and he was the one who brought me there so that I could get happiness and joy in my heart.
Mm.
And here I am fussing about something that happened 1,500 miles away.
Yeah.
And so that was a big life lesson because I was missing out.
Mhm.
I wasn't just missing out on maybe some bear or foxes. I was missing out on being present with my soulmate.
Yeah. Well, and just for yourself too.
Well, and for
Yeah.
myself, yeah. I mean, that's a great point. Hadn't even looked at it that way.
Well,
Mhm.
well, now we're gonna unpack that.
Okay.
Well, that's great. What are some of the other areas that you've traveled to that inspires you?
It sounds weird. Uh, I love San Diego. Maybe that's not so weird, but it's the beach.
Okay.
I love putting my feet in the sand and looking for seashells and hearing the waves. It's so calming,
What
you
does
know.
that do for the anxiety and the depression that tends to haunt you from time to time?
When I can go into nature, whether it's the beach, the mountains, a lake, or even my backyard, well, first of all, there's science behind it.
Mhm.
Walking out into nature will immediately affect your body in physiological ways. You'll lower your heart rate, your blood pressure, your
Mhm.
cortisol levels, your stress hormone goes down. And what's really cool about that, it doesn't take much time. You can spend a couple of minutes outside. Can I share with you an exercise that I
Yeah,
created?
please do.
A lot of people, and you may be familiar with this. Are you familiar with the grounding exercise where you use your five senses?
I've heard of it, and I've actually heard you talk about it, but
Mm.
my definition of grounding is, like, walking barefoot outside. That's what I know of grounding, but it sounds like it might be different.
That is one way you can do that. There are techniques where people take their shoes off and put their feet on the ground.
Mhm.
That is the literal sense of grounding. There are grounding exercises where you utilize your senses. Like, for example, I will use three of mine because I'm not going to taste a tree or I
Right.
might smell a rose, but I'm not going to
Sure, sure.
taste random things. So I had this exercise where you can uh, you sit real quiet, real still without your phone or tablet or your Apple Watch going off, and you listen. You just
Mm.
sit and you listen. And what do you hear? What do you hear? Okay, if you're in a neighborhood where you can hear people talking or cars going by, well, you hear that. That's just what you hear.
Yeah.
Then you go down another level. Can you hear birds chirping or
Mhm.
crickets chirping? Maybe some water's trickling.
Kind of a sound within the sound.
A sound with this, you can go deeper if you can just
Mhm.
make those move those sounds out of the way, and then you work on your sight. That one's really fun to do because there's so many things you can see. You can see objects like the sky,
Mm.
trees, grasses, flowers. You might even see colors like green and blues and whites. And these are things you actually list off in your brain,
Mhm.
and there's a reason for why that helps. It helps you. Well, it helps you to be present, but I'll explain more in a minute. And then go into shapes and textures. Then I go to the feel sense, and what does it feel like? Is it hot, humid, cool?
Mhm.
You know, and don't assign judgment to it. Just list these things off in your brain because what happens is by being by using your senses,
Mhm.
you are being fully present. Senses only occur in the present moment.
Mm.
Your mind can travel to the future or to the past, but your sight, your hearing, all your other senses is what's happening right this minute.
Right in the now.
And that's why you can become present. And your central nervous system, when you start listing those things out,
Mhm.
it's a clue to your central nervous system that, oh, it's time to relax. It's time
Yeah.
to let the body fully breathe.
But that's an active activity, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's not a passive, like, you really have to concentrate on what you're hearing, what you're smelling, and what you're tasting, or whatever, like you said, so,
Seeing
yeah.
and feeling. And again, it's the listing of what you see, hear, and feel is so important
Mhm.
because,
It
otherwise your
imprints.
mind will
Yeah.
travel,
But
you know,
being able
but
to list those out loud or internally, that imprints, right?
mhm.
That's helping to create a neural pathway that
It
otherwise got obliterated by something that a bad habit maybe before that you used to do, right? Like,
it may be,
yeah.
yeah, it
So
may certainly. It's a good tool to have.
as far as the the transformative power of nature, you touched on something as far as um, who got you started in nature or who instilled that love for nature
Yeah.
with you, and that was your mom.
That was my mom. Mhm.
How has that transpired in y'all's relationship over the years?
Oh, she is just a precious soul. She really is. And so I've had the pleasure of learning from her. I'll never forget in high school, I was in advanced biology and I had to put together a book of 50 plants, wild native plants.
Mhm.
And so we selected our 50 and 50 more.
Mm,
And we identified them all, and I got an A plus plus on that. So,
nice.
but she's someone that she suffers from depression,
Mm.
and but I think she found solace in nature. She actually became a master gardener,
Oh, okay. That's
and so
great.
she worked out, in the soil, planting flowers and things
Mhm.
like that around the community. So she grew up in a, I guess, on a farm, but it was a small farm. They were sharecroppers
Mhm.
basically, and so she at an early age was picking cotton.
Yeah.
So she's been outdoors her entire life,
Oh, that's
and
great.
she still loves it.
I love being outdoors. I think I've told you this before,
Mhm.
but I grew up on Cedar Creek Lake area, and it was something that we clearly just took for granted while I was growing up there because it's all we knew, right?
Yeah.
We would come to the big Dallas area every now and then, but that was, Dallas was the biggest city that we had ever really come in contact with until later on in life. But, the lake is what we knew. So, having transplanted from Cedar Creek up here to the Wiley area, it's completely different, stark
Mhm.
difference, right? Yes, we've got the lake in Levon a few miles down the road, but it's just not the same. And it wasn't until being immersed in the DFW area for several years that I realized, oh my gosh, I definitely took it for granted living out
Mhm.
there in nature.
Same. That's how I felt
Yeah,
about Arkansas, and
yeah.
I'm just glad Rick reintroduced me into Yellowstone.
Well, and much probably like you, I didn't realize until later on in life as far as what was responsible for the depression I was experiencing or the anxiety I was experiencing. I was just kind of rolling with the punches as a teenager, and no fault to my parents. They raised us really well, but just mental health was not something that we talked about in the home.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I guess a question I have for you is at what age did you start realizing that mental health has a key priority of importance in your life?
I don't know that I ever recognized it as mental health because, or put a label on it. I remember going to a therapist, I guess, in my late 20s for the first time. And working with that individual on certain things. And then a few years would pass, and then I'd be like, well, something's not right. So you go to another
Mhm,
therapist. Sometimes I would go to like a psychiatrist, and they would prescribe something. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't doing anything for me.
mhm.
So I've had a checkered past with finding a therapist or going to a psychiatrist and getting the help I needed. I've felt, I feel like the best treatment I've ever gotten is going to a group like yours.
Oh,
Or I know I'm serious. I'm serious.
I didn't realize that that
And
was that much of an
oh,
impact.
it made a huge impact.
Oh,
Well, you and I've had conversations where I'm like, oh, okay, so that's why this
hmm,
happened, or okay, well, it is what it is.
yeah. And we've been fortunate to be able to spend quite a bit of time together, outside of the group,
Yeah.
and that group is definitely very, very special. What drew you to that group? Was it the fact that there were other people out there that were just like you, or did you just wanted to meet new people, or have coffee, or what was it?
I want seriously, I don't like coffee. No.
Well, that's true. He doesn't like
I don't
coffee.
like coffee. No, what drew me was you said you were a speaker on mental
Oh,
health,
that's right, yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh," my message touches on mental health. Um, I don't share my journey, but, it does touch on that because I know nature is so powerful
Mhm.
in helping people through onto the other side. But it, I wanted to meet you, and then that first day, that very first meeting, I heard from this person and this person and this person. I went, "Oh wow!" And I remember sharing my story, and someone said, "Oh yeah, sure, that happens." Oh, okay. I
It was
didn't
news to
know
you,
it
right?
was.
Yeah, that's funny. So, are you able to take us through some of that journey
And
as far as well, let's dial in a little bit on getting your permission first. As far as
mhm,
talking about the depression and anxiety,
mhm.
do you know where that stems from?
Well, I think the anxiety definitely stems from, being trying to be perfect all my life. I was bullied as a kid, and I had a father who set expectations, and I tried my best to meet them. And so I think there's a lot of pressure from that. Now, don't get me wrong, my dad loves me today. So our relationship is very, very good.
Good.
Yeah, very, very healthy. And but it wasn't when I was younger. Dad didn't know how to be a dad. And one of the best things that happened is one day I shared with him something he told me when I was 16, and I guess I had carried that with me, and he said, "I am so sorry." I'm at
Mhm.
33, and he's apologizing to me
Yeah.
and saying he was so sorry, and he just didn't know how to be a
Mhm.
parent. And and that happens, but uh, I had to move from that. And again, it was a friend of mine, not a therapist, not anybody else, but a friend of mine who I remember telling her that we were designing our new home.
Mhm.
And I was showing her the plans, and she said, "You don't sound very excited about this."
Mm.
She said, "Why is that?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And it's not that I wasn't excited. I was very excited, but there was a part of me that maybe felt like I didn't deserve it.
Oh.
Yeah, so I went through like my 30s and 40s questioning if I deserved the life that I had.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I, just saying that now, I realize that fortunately my friend, I guess I'm 45 years old at the time, and
Mhm.
46, and she's no, I was older. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, she helped me through that.
Mhm.
And I learned from her. She never in her life questioned whether she was deserving or of something.
Mhm.
And I went, "Wow." Or that she wasn't worthy. Wow.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
So I did go to a therapist about that, and worked through that issue. And now that part of my life, I'm confident
Mhm.
that, I am worthy, I am deserving. I
Yes,
mean,
you are.
I'm very
Yeah.
confident of that.
That's good.
So it's just some perfectionism issues that are still underlying. But there was a period in my time where I had physical immobility.
Mhm.
I was in so much pain. My knees were hurting so badly.
That's right, yeah.
And it was what a therapist called situational depression.
Okay.
And because medication wasn't helping me, but I had a doctor in 2021, January 2021. This was my second orthopedic surgeon that I went to for help with pain in my knees.
Mhm.
And he flat out told me, he said, "You're going to end up in a wheelchair.
Mm.
I can't do surgery on you until you lose 100 pounds." If I could have lost 100 pounds, I would have done it 30 years ago.
Exactly, and your knees wouldn't be hurt in the first
You
place, so
know,
yeah.
and he said,
So he was talking to you like it was just that easy, okay,
"Yeah,
yeah, okay. And it's not.
it's
It's not easy at
not."
all. So
And he, said, "You have to stop, uh, these different activities," and one of them was dancing.
mm.
And Rick and I had just finished like our year and a half of dance lessons.
Mhm.
And it was one thing that he and I did that brought us really close together. It was intimate without being intimate. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was more of a mental situation. And when I realized that that was over,
Mhm.
oh, oh, it was like cutting a hole in my heart.
Mm.
It was awful, and I became depressed,
Yeah.
and so depressed to the point that I kind of felt maybe I I don't want to be a burden for Rick,
Mhm.
and that's hard for probably some people to hear, but it is kind of where it led. But I've got an amazing husband who said, "You're going to get through this. We're going to find an answer. We're going to find a
Yeah.
solution." And I'll never forget. I went to my third orthopedic
Mhm.
surgeon, and I was telling him this happened, this happened, this happened, and I just looked down and I heard those 4 words, "I can help you."
Mm.
And
And
I
he
l
was looking at
he was looking at
so
me.
he was acknowledging it.
I looked up at him and he was looking in my eyes
Mhm.
and he had great concern and confidence on his face, and I just broke down in tears.
Mm.
And I owe that man my life.
Well, you felt seen by him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone was listening
Right.
and
That
can help me without having to lose any weight.
they weren't just treating you like a case number, right? Like
Yeah,
they were he was treating you like a
a
person, human being
person. Yeah,
that he clearly was concerned for. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's
That was
great.
probably the roughest point in my life. I remember when I was younger, my friend and I had lost a friend to suicide in college.
Mhm.
And we were talking to my dad about it. And both, she was my high school friend, and it was me. And we were both going through different challenges in life and going, I can see why someone would do that.
Mhm.
We can see why someone would leave this earth. And my dad said something, and I wish I could remember the words exactly, but it was, you, uh, there are so many other decisions and changes you can make in your life, but once you do that,
Mm.
it's over.
That's the final decision.
That's a final decision.
Yeah. That can
So
be sobering.
it was, and my friend still remembers that today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's brought it up before.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I don't can I
This is your episode.
okay.
Yeah, please. Yeah, share all you want.
That's one thing I wanna share and hope inspire other people to do. If you have a strong friend who's gone silent,
Mm. Mhm.
who you haven't heard from, isn't as active on social media or in your communicating with you, check on them, especially if they're a strong person because something's going on.
Mhm.
And I wish more of my friends would contact me and let me know what's going on in their life.
Mhm.
I usually find out after the fact. Now, um, I don't think I think it's because women and men, I know why a lot of my friends, because I've heard it from 2 of them say, "I didn't wanna burden you with this."
Yeah.
I've used that line too.
Same.
"I don't wanna burden you with this. You've
Mhm.
got so much going on," or, "I'll get over it."
Yeah.
I'm your friend for more than just happy times. I'm your friend to guide you, support you, or just sit there and go, "Yeah, yeah, it sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's true on so many different levels. We want to hear how our friends are doing, and we know that our friends want to hear how we're doing, but there's a gap there, and I think that's where the stigma gets stuck is because we or they are afraid to speak up for fear of judgment, right?
absolutely.
For fear of just ridicule, fear of being found out like we were fraud or something like that. But so you see, if you have people on both sides feeling that way, nothing's ever going to be said. It's
Yeah.
going to be buried down and suppressed in each person time and time and time again until what happens, right? We don't know. It's usually not good.
Mhm.
So you're right. I think it's very, very, very important for us to acknowledge the friends that have gone silent, like you said, and just to make ourselves known to our friends too on a proactive level, not necessarily just
True.
wait until we get to the point of shutting down,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
we get to the point of shutting down, we want our friends to reach out, but how do they know, right?
They don't
They
know.
don't.
Yeah.
So I think communication is just very important, and just never assume that your friends are okay. Um, my rule of thumb is if, God brings that thought to my head or puts them on my heart in any
Oh, I
way,
like that.
I'll just send them a random message like, "Hey, I just had you on my heart today. Just wanted to say hello, see how you're doing." Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? They read it and be like, well, "That's cheesy." Right? But at least they had somebody reach out, you know? I mean, you never
Well,
know
it
what they're
could,
gonna. Yeah.
but if it's your friend, yeah, they won't think it's cheesy.
Right, that's a good point too, yeah. If they're your friend, they won't think it's cheesy. Just send the message. So we've talked a little bit about the nature and how important nature is in your life, but, one of your hobbies is near and dear to you as well, and that's photography.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your love for photography.
I started when I was 15. My dad gave me my first camera, and I took pictures of still life. Oh my gosh, y'all, I had a little Casio piano player keyboard, and I grabbed a piece of black fabric and kind of made it look like a grand piano, and I put flowers on it, and I took pictures, and I got them
Oh,
printed and framed and gave them to my friends. I just thought I was cool.
yeah.
But and then I would randomly take pictures out in nature. But again, even in 2006 on our first trip, so we went everywhere. This
Mhm.
was an epic. It was a family vacation for sure for Rick and I. We went to Carlsbad Caverns, the Painted Desert, the dinosaur park that is no longer whatever, and then Grand Tetons and then Yellowstone.
Mm,
And
quite the trip.
it was such a trip. It was, and I, I had this it, manual camera that still used film and stuff like that,
Mm.
and I didn't have the right lenses or anything. But I remember, oh my gosh, and this one changed my life. I'll talk about it in a minute too. In the Tetons, I saw my first grizzly bear ever, not in zoos or anything, and she had 3 little cubs.
Oh my goodness.
And all I had was a 28 millimeter to 70 millimeter lens, and they looked like this big
Yeah,
on the print.
but you've got the picture to
But I
prove
got
it.
the picture. And so every year since then, I've increased my lens length. Okay, it's 150,
Yeah.
now 350, and now I have a 600 millimeter lens.
Oh, wow.
Rick has an 800 millimeter lens. We both upgraded to the mirrorless Nikon Z9.
Okay.
So yeah, and our lower end lens is a 24 to 70, and we use that on the fire scenes because I'm also the fire photographer of the Wiley Fire Department.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's
hmm
super cool. I wanted you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So what got you into taking photographs of firefighters?
When I went back to college to get that mass communications degree,
Mhm.
I took a photojournalism class, and they said, "Hey, we want you to, it's 6 weeks long, but we need you to find a subject that you can take a picture of this week. Then you can go in the lab and process it,
Mhm.
and because we used film, and then the next week." Take another picture of that same subject. So maybe it's a flower that's blooming, or maybe you'll find, someone picked a home under construction. I just went whole hog and went, I want to take pictures of police officers. Well,
Yeah.
they didn't want that. So I said, I want to take pictures of firefighters. So
They let you do that, right?
they let me do
That
that.
that landed. So where can we
So
see some of your work?
yeah, I don't have a portfolio yet, except on aliciainthewild.com. There are some photos of my wildlife photography.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Good. Now, is that something in the near future that you might do? Put together a portfolio or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
One of the things about going to Yellowstone, Rick and I decided that we wouldn't make this. Number one, there are some amazing professional photographers out there,
Mhm.
and the perfectionist in me, and I think in Rick too, comes in and says, oh, well, there ain't no way we can make, a photo look that good.
Yeah.
So we decided not to sell our prints and just make it a hobby.
Yeah.
That way we're not going to work in Yellowstone, because I stopped working with my clients after that lady called me and I couldn't get that file to her. I stopped taking work on vacation, and I'm so glad I did. And I highly recommend everyone who says, I'll still check in my email, or you can text me if things are going wrong in the office. No, 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 no. You guys need to unplug from society and recharge your batteries.
Yeah, recharge. That's a word you use quite a bit. And there's a lot that you've talked to us in this short amount of time as far as being able to recharge from. So I do appreciate that. So we've got you being motivated and inspired by nature. You love nature when you're immersed in it, and that's something near and dear to your heart. Photography is a hobby of yours,
Yeah.
and that helps you kind of unwind, and
it does,
right, and it allows you to be who you are
and in the moment.
in the moment. Yeah. Now, your keynote speaking. What's the driving force behind that?
Going back to that speaker who looked at me and said, you have value. Yeah. Guess what? I've had a lot of people tell me that over the last 15, 16 years.
From your keynotes? Or
from using when I used to serve people with marketing and graphic design to now to with a keynote, but I didn't recognize it until and well, literally, honestly, until I didn't show you this.
This happens a lot.
I know.
It happens a lot.
I just received a review from the people who had me as their keynote. And oh my gosh, it's glowing.
That's great.
I know. And it was confirmation. So I'm one of those people that I'm so critical of myself that I rely on other people's information. You and I've talked about this. And it's just who I am.
Well. Yeah,
it's just who I am. It's not going to change. But now that I've got the gold nugget, the brass ring that I was looking for, nothing can stop me now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you remember your very first time giving a keynote, what it was like to be on stage in front of people?
So I do. It was a 15-minute keynote, and no one said anything afterwards. So I don't think I gave the presentation that they were looking for, but I just had 15 minutes, and it was about my stories, which I thought I had integrated. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The next keynote that I gave, I did get some really good feedback on it. Yeah.
Good. What would you say to somebody out there who's toying with the idea of becoming a speaker?
Okay, it's hard work. And if you don't want to promote yourself, then don't do it, because no one's going to promote you but you.
Yeah, you talk a lot about that actually.
Do I?
In this, as far as where to begin, and this, the social media, how to go about getting gigs and so on and so forth. What prompted you to write this, though? Your experiences?
Well, I was part of a good group of friends, acquaintances that we just all decided to write a book.
Oh, okay.
And so that's
what you chose.
That was my goal, was to write this book. And I'm very proud of it, because Tom Zig Ziglar's son, gave a testimonial on it. So I'm just really honored with that. But the thing is that what inspired me to do it was the peer pressure.
Okay. Which actually, a lot of us who deal with procrastination and with ADHD, we actually welcome that peer pressure, because it helps drive us to get the thing done. So
yeah, I had no idea that I was going to be an author times 5.
Yeah.
I've done 3 collaborative books and 2 of my own. Maybe I've done a 4th. Actually, I've done 4 collaborative books. I didn't know that I was going to be an award-winning photographer or award-winning speaker or international speaker, but it was because I had that peer group,
Mhm.
the group of friends and associates that we could, be accountable with one another,
Mhm.
and that was huge.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
You gotta have people in your corner. You have to
Yeah.
have people that are there to spur you on,
Mhm.
to challenge you, to hold you accountable,
Oh, yeah.
but to see the good too, to see that light in you
Mhm.
that you may not see at the in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good time in my life, those 12 years. Mhm.
That's good.
Mhm.
Well, if you could go back to speaking to young Alicia,
Mm.
have you thought about that much? And if not, you're gonna think about it now.
I guess I'm gonna think about it now.
What would you say to young Alicia? Let's take 8-year-old Alicia, 16-year-old Alicia, and 25-year-old Alicia.
8-year-old Alicia I would wanna tell her, "You are loved,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with you, and, you are going to do great things, and you're gonna make a lasting impression on people."
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. A 16-year-old Alicia.
16, you're not fat,
Yeah?
you don't need a diet, um, you're fine the way you are. As a matter of fact, you're perfectly perfect the way you are. You don't, um, you you got the world in front of you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 16, yeah.
25.
25, you
This
don't
is where
have
you
to be
start
on a diet.
this is where you start spreading your wings, right? At
Yeah,
25. Again, you don't have to be on a diet.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't be so hard on yourself. Give grace to others,
Mm,
and you're fine. You're perfectly fine, and you're gonna do some incredible things.
that's great.
Mhm.
Have you always felt that way? About like if you've looked back at your past, have you always felt as strong as you feel about it now?
No, I was one of those people that once you put the brass ring in front of me,
Mm,
I was working towards that goal. All my life, I've been a goal achiever.
mhm.
You know, graduate high school, graduate college, get a job, get another job, get married, get another job,
Yeah, yeah.
And now, and I have to tell you, the last 3 years, I haven't had that, carrot in front of me, like a client that needed
Uh,
this or, you
mm.
know,
So you've had freedom.
I've had freedom and it's scary and and you get depressed about it because you don't know what to do.
Well, how do you work through it then? In those moments where you get
I
depressed about it?
rely on people to
Yeah.
tell me it's okay. I have to have my friends and my support system.
And I knew you'd answer that, and that
Mhm.
kind of is a great segue into community. Community is just so important, whether you have mental health issues or not. Like just having somebody or a group of people that you can bounce off your ideas, that you can be free to speak around, that you can be free to be yourself around. Right? It's so important. Why do you think people may be afraid of community?
Judgment,
Hmm.
absolutely judgment, fear of letting others down,
Hmm.
fear of judgment, fear of letting others down.
Maybe comparison.
Oh, comparison, imposter syndrome, which I suffered with.
Hmm.
But what's really cool about that, once you get over it,
Yeah.
ain't nothing to it.
Ain't nothing
I'm
to.
trying to walk a friend through imposter syndrome right now. I'm like, "Girl, you got this.
Yeah.
You are a queen,"
Well, in a
you
sense, it's
know?
not you could put a positive spin on imposter syndrome, actually.
Oh, tell
Yeah,
me.
you can well, because you're gonna work harder.
Uh-huh.
Like, if
Uh-huh.
if we're sitting there and we're thinking we're a fraud, we've put it in front of us that we have something to prove.
Mhm.
So, in essence, you're going to work harder than the other person who thinks, "Oh, they just got it."
Mm,
So
mhm.
let's take you have two people and in 30 days they're going to give a talk, right? Well, you've got one who's super confident and the other is got imposter syndrome from start to finish. Who do you think's going to work even harder
Oh, yeah.
to have their point come across? Who do you think's going to work even harder to get that response from their audience? Right? It's
Yeah.
going to be the person who's worked on it. I guarantee you 10 times harder than the person who thinks that they've got nothing to work on.
Mhm,
Like I've
mhm.
got it, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that I've learned that helps me is that, okay, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but how am I going to use it? Am I going to use imposter syndrome to completely isolate and shut down and just put up the challenge that was in front of me and not do
Mm.
it? Or am I going to use it to say, okay, Zach, this is that challenge that you've set for yourself to make sure that you completely master this thing. Learn as much as you can. Speak on it from a standpoint of a master, not just somebody who's interested in it. And especially not somebody who thinks that they're a fraud.
Yeah.
So working as though I'm a fraud all the way up to the point, or excuse me, with imposter syndrome all the way up to the point, is it maybe the healthiest thing to do? Probably not. But like for me, I figured out a way that it works for me. But imposter syndrome is something that does hit absolutely everyone, whether they think it does or not, it does hit them. What is something that you would tell somebody who's about to speak for the first time about imposter syndrome?
I would let them know that they have value.
Hmm.
You have value.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have value. And that's what someone told me. And I was also told multiple times that my message needs to be heard. And
Mm,
I would tell the exact same thing to that person.
okay.
And I've talked with people whose message doesn't quite resonate with me. I
Hmm.
don't understand it, but it does to other people.
Hmm.
And I also tell people I have a speaking workshop that I give to city employees about every 2 years. And one of the things that I make sure people know is that they have value. And number two is they are the expert.
Hmm.
Okay. Your journey, your experiences makes you the expert of that.
That's true.
So share that expertise with people and let them learn.
Yeah. So, with May being Mental Health Month, what is something that you hope listeners today get from watching this YouTube video or this Spotify or wherever they choose to watch it? What do you hope that they get from it?
I hope that you walk away with some ideas on how you can get out into nature and allow it to give you a moment to breathe
Hmm.
and focus on being present and mindful. I also hope you understand that a person can seem confident and so sure of themselves, but every once in a while they have those doubts that run in their head, even at this age,
Yeah.
and that it's okay to be imperfectly perfect. That's who I am right now,
Yeah.
and my last keynote taught me it's okay to use your notes.
Well, that could be kind of a mantra for a lot of things, right? Like just, that could be something that you say to yourself when you get to a point where you're up against the wall and you can't break through the wall and you're getting nervous or you're getting anxious, you can step back and say, it's okay to use your notes, right?
Mhm.
That'll put you back in
Mhm.
that space. So yeah, definitely find something to hold on to that allows you to, reach back in your back pocket and pull that out, so to speak. The notes are in your back pocket, so to speak. And definitely know that you do have value, and everything that she said, just put that to use. I think that's great. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
Well, I really appreciate you being on
Yeah,
today. Yeah,
me
is there
too.
anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to share?
I'm grateful for our friendship.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, this guy is amazing. You just need to
Well,
know.
we'll edit that out.
No, no, no. And I guess the thing that I want to share is that you have value and you are going to impact people in a positive way.
That's right.
So keep that in mind.
That's right. Well, thanks for being with us
Thank
today.
you.
I appreciate it.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.